Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Chapter 46.
And the story kicks off, and things are pretty tense right away. You've got Zhu Yu, brilliant commander, but notoriously jealous.
Intensely jealous, yeah.
He sends his aide, Lu Su, to basically spy on Zhu Jilang, who we also know as Kong Ming.
Right. And Zhu Yu suspects Kong Ming's figured out his earlier scheme.
The one he pulled to get rid of Cao's two naval commanders, Cai Mao and Zheng Yan.
Which raises a key question, I think. Why the intense focus on Kong Ming?
Yeah, why him specifically?
I mean, Zhu Yu himself is a top-tier strategist, no doubt about it. But this insecurity he has about Kong Ming, about his, let's say, superior foresight, it keeps coming up.
So sending Lu Su isn't just like a routine chat.
No, it feels more desperate than that. He's trying to figure out just how much Kong Ming actually knows, how deep his insight goes.
And Kong Ming, well, he doesn't disappoint, does he? He plays it masterfully.
Not at all. He flips the script immediately.
He tells Lu Su straight up, yeah, I knew about the scheme. But then he congratulates Zhu Yu on it.
Right. Says it removed a major threat to Jiangdong, his own side.
And then he goes even further. He predicts Cao will replace Cai Mao and Zheng Yan with Mao Ji and Yu Jin.
And predicts they will be the downfall of Cao Cao's navy.
Which is stunningly accurate.
It really is. If you connect this to the bigger picture, Kong Ming isn't just showing intelligence here. It's this almost chilling predictive power. It goes beyond just deduction.
Like he sees several moves ahead.
Exactly. And Lu Su is just left speechless. Because Kong Ming is basically reading Zhu Yu's mind and laying out the future. It's a masterclass in establishing psychological dominance right from the start.
So here's where it gets interesting. Kong Ming, always the pragmatist, right? He warns Lu Su. He says, look, don't tell Zhu Yu I knew about this. He's worried Zhu Yu's jealousy will make him try something.
Which shows Kong Ming's sharp read on Zhu Yu's character flaws. He knows his own brilliance is perceived as a threat.
That Zhu Yu's ego just can't handle someone seeming smarter.
Precisely. And this isn't just, some historical tidbit. It's a crucial lesson for any competitive field, really. Understanding your opponent's psychological weak spots, like Zhu's massive insecurity that can be your best weapon. Kong Ming uses Zhu Yu's ego against him, even here.
But Lu Su, maybe he's caught in the middle. Loyalty versus admiration.
Seems like it.
Because he goes and spills the beans to Zhu Yu anyway?
Yeah, predictably.
Zhu Yu is absolutely furious. He declares he has to get rid of Kong Ming.
Lu Su tries to talk him down, but Zhu Yu's convinced he has a just way to do it, a legitimate reason.
So the next day, Zhu Yu calls a meeting. He asks Kong Ming, kind of innocently, what weapon's most crucial for naval combat.
And Kong Ming walks right into it, seemingly.
He says bows and arrows.
Bingo. Zhu Yu seizes that immediately.
Claims the army's short on arrows and challenges Kong Ming produce 100,000 arrows.
And the deadline, 10 days, which sounds completely unreasonable.
It's Yu Yu's trap, plain and simple.
Absolutely. He frames it as a necessary military task, does it publicly, but that timeline, it's designed for failure.
He wants Kong Ming legally trapped so he can execute him without looking, petty or arbitrary.
Right.
But Kong Ming, he doesn't even blink. He says 10 days is too long.
Ah, classic Kong Ming.
He says 3 days will be enough.
Incredible audacity.
And he even signs a military pledge, a Junling Shuang agreeing to face severe punishment if he fails.
Zhu Yu must have been ecstatic.
Oh, yeah. The text says he was. He secretly tells his artisans to basically sabotage Kong Ming, delay things, withhold materials, just to make sure he fails.
Double insurance for his trap.
Then he sends Lu Su off again, ostensibly to check on Kong Ming's progress.
Which puts Lu Su in another awkward spot.
So Lu Su finds Kong Ming, who just sighs and says something like, see, I told you not to tell him, now look.
A bit of an I told you so moment, but with huge stakes.
Then Kong Ming lays out this utterly audacious plan. He needs Lu Su's help, secret help.
What does he ask for?
20 light, fast boats, each needs 30 soldiers. They have to be covered with glue cloth.
Okay.
And lined on both sides with over 1,000 bundles of straw, tied on.
Straw bundles? Okay, that sounds odd.
Right. He promises the 100,000 arrows by day 3, but he stresses absolute secrecy. If Zhu Yu finds out about the boats and straw, the whole thing's ruined.
That is putting enormous trust in Lu Su, especially after he already messed up.
It is. It's a huge gamble on Kong Ming's part. He's basically betting everything on Lu Su's discretion this time.
It shows Kong Ming can read people, maybe sees that Lu Su, despite flaws, is fundamentally decent or perhaps now feels indebted?
Could be. And those details, the blue cloth, the straw, they're obviously crucial for what's coming.
It's a fantastic example of using what you have, even something seemingly useless like straw, and turning it into a strategic asset through pure ingenuity. Not magic, just smart thinking.
So Lu Su, still probably baffled but trusting now, he agrees. He gets the boats, soldiers, materials, all done secretly.
Without telling Zhu Yu about the actual boats and straw.
Exactly. He just reports back that Kongming isn't using the usual stuff, bamboo, feathers, glue, which of course only makes Zhu Yu more certain Kongming has no real plan.
Right, confirms his bias.
Day 1 passes, nothing happens. Day 2, still nothing. You can imagine Zhu Yu rubbing his hands together.
The tension must be building. Kongming looks doomed.
But this inactivity, is that part of the plan too?
Oh, absolutely. It's psychological warfare. Let Zhu's confidence swell. Let him think his trap is working perfectly.
Makes him less likely to look for a trick.
Exactly. Zhu Yu sees what he expects to see. Nothing. And that expectation becomes his blind spot.
Then, early on the 3rd day, like 4 a.m., Kongming secretly gets Lu Su, invites him onto one of the boats.
Okay, here we go.
Kongming just calmly says, "I've invited you specially to come with me to collect arrows."
Collect arrows where?
Lu Su asks the same thing. Kongming just says, "You'll see when we get there." Then he orders the 20 boats linked by ropes to head straight for Cao Cao's camp on the north bank.
Towards the enemy camp, in the dark.
And then nature provides the perfect cover.
The fog.
A huge, dense fog rolls in over the Yangtze River, so thick the text says you couldn't see someone right in front of you.
Incredible timing, or maybe anticipated.
Kongming urges the boats right into the thickest part of it. The description is quite poetic. The great fog covered all 4 directions. Only drums and gongs could be heard.
This is it. The real aha moment.
Yeah.
Kongming isn't just smart, he's opportunistic. He uses the environment.
He didn't make the fog, but he was ready for it.
Absolutely. That adaptability, being ready to seize an unexpected chance, is key. The fog makes the whole crazy plan viable.
So as they get close to Cao Cao's water camp, hidden in the fog, Kongming gives orders.
What now?
Spread the boats out in a line, bows facing west, sterns east. Then he tells the soldiers, "Beat your drums, shout, make a huge racket."
Okay, so let's put ourselves in Cao Cao's shoes for a second.
Right. It's 4 a.m., pitch black, fog so thick you can't see the water in front of your ships.
And suddenly, out of the fog comes a sound of hundreds of drums, thousands of voices yelling.
What are you going to think?
Attack. A massive surprise attack heading right for you.
Exactly. Lu Su is understandably terrified. He asks Kongming, "What if they come out? What do we do?"
A very reasonable question.
But Kongming just laughs. He says basically, "Relax. I predicted Cao Cao wouldn't dare send his troops out in this fog. He's too cautious."
Wow. Just complete confidence in his psychological profile of the enemy commander.
He tells Lu Su, "Let's just, have a drink, enjoy ourselves. We'll go back when the fog lifts."
Well, the heavy fog was absolutely key. It created uncertainty, fear. When Cao Cao's forces heard the drumming and shouting from the river, their immediate response wasn't careful analysis. It was just fear of an ambush. So his commanders, Mao Ji and Yu Jin, they quickly ordered archers to shoot. Blindly, really. Then you had Zhang Liao and Xu Huang adding another 6,000 archers from the land camp to the, 10,000 already there. So arrows just rained down into the river. It was defensive, yes, but ultimately completely self-defeating.
Wow. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, right? The strategist just turns his boats around, lets the arrows stick into the straw.
Exactly. Collects them neatly.
And then as the fog lifts, his soldiers shout, "Thank you, Prime Minister, for the arrows." I mean, talk about an epic moment. Imagine being Cao Cao. What must that have felt like, realizing you just armed your enemy?
Well, the text says he was filled with deep regret, utterly outplayed. And the boats were already, 20 miles away, that's maybe 7 miles or so, way too fast to chase by then. But what's truly fascinating here, as you said, is that this wasn't luck. He hadn't just stumbled into the fog. He had calculated this 3 days in advance, predicted the fog, the enemy's fear, their likely reaction, all of it. He even emphasized later that a general must understand astronomy, geography, formations, yin-yang principles, that balance of forces, plus battle maps, military strength, the whole picture. Otherwise, he said, they're just a mediocre talent.
It's such a powerful illustration, isn't it? How that deep, holistic preparation and understanding the environment can make something seem almost magical. But couldn't you argue there was still a huge element of luck? relying on the fog appearing exactly then, and Cao Cao reacting exactly that way? Or was it truly all calculation, like his rival, Zhu Yu, later admitted? I mean, Zhu Yu heard the story and apparently sighed, his divine strategy and calculation, I am not his equal. What does it tell us when even your fiercest rival basically throws up their hands and says, okay, you're better? Does that validate the strategy itself?
I think it does, yeah. It tells us that true strategic genius can transcend even bitter rivalry. Zhu Yu wasn't just being polite. He recognized that Kong Ming's foresight and his complete mastery of all the elements, the weather, human psychology, logistics, it put him in a different league. It wasn't just a clever trick. It was this profound demonstration of strategic understanding, so deep that even an opponent had to acknowledge its kind of foundational truth. It's that integrated knowledge, like understanding both macroeconomics and consumer psychology and business. It separates the real strategists from just, well, tacticians.
Okay, so having brilliantly borrowed hundreds of thousand arrows, the next challenge was figuring out how to actually attack Cao Cao's incredibly well-organized water camp. And Zhu Yu, now clearly impressed, invites Kong Ming to help figure this out.
That's right. Zhu Yu knew a direct assault was just too difficult, probably suicidal. And he now deeply respected the strategist's superior foresight after the arrow incident. He needed his input.
Right, and this leads to a really unique moment in the story. Zhu Yu suggests they both write their ideas down on their palms simultaneously, and when they reveal their hands, they've written the exact same single character. What does that kind of synchronicity really mean when two brilliant minds working independently arrive at the exact same pretty complex solution? Is it just coincidence or?
It was the character for fire.
Fire.
Yeah. And apparently they both burst out laughing. It confirmed their shared vision.
Yeah.
A fire attack was the way. That synchronicity, I think it suggests more than coincidence. It suggests a convergence. Like, given all the variables the enemy set up, the wind direction likely needed their own resources. Fire was maybe the only truly viable high-impact solution.
Yeah.
It sort of validates the idea not just as a good plan, but maybe as the strategically inevitable one in those specific circumstances.
Yeah.
Deeply resonant.
Fascinating. Okay, and Kong Ming, after they agreed on fire, he also pointed out something interesting. He said that even though Cao Cao had faced similar fire tricks twice before, he still wouldn't be prepared for this particular application. What does that tell us about strategic planning, especially when you're dealing with an opponent who you'd think would have learned his lesson?
It highlights something critical. It's not just about having a plan. It's about deeply understanding the psychological blind spots and the cognitive biases of your opponent. They were confident Cao Cao would overlook this specific method. Why? Probably because he was stuck in his thinking, expecting patterns based on those past attacks.
Predictability becoming a weakness.
Exactly. It shows the depth of their combined insight into human behavior and conflict. Even past experience can create a vulnerability if it leads to fixed assumptions. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so shifting gears slightly. After losing all those arrows, Cao Cao was, well, understandably pretty vexed, annoyed, and his advisor suggests sending spies to infiltrate the enemy camp.
Yes, his advisor, Sun Yu. He came up with a clever plan, or so he thought. Use the Cai brothers Cai Zong and Cai He. They were cousins of Cai Mao, a commander Cao Cao had recently executed. So the idea was their feigned grief and desire for revenge would make them seem totally genuine defectors.
A classic espionage tactic, yeah, using personal motivation as cover.
Precisely.
So the Cai brothers arrive at Zhu Yu's camp, and they really put on a show, weeping, talking about revenge, demanding to be in the vanguard, the whole 9 yards. And Zhu Yu seems to welcome them with open arms, praises them, offers them wine. But what's truly fascinating is what Zhu Yu does immediately after, in secret. How does he see through their act so quickly? What tipped him off?
Exactly. His public face is welcoming, but privately. He immediately tells his general, Gan Ning, these two are not sincere. His key observation, they didn't bring their families with them.
The red flag.
A huge red flag for anyone genuinely defecting, especially defecting to join a risky battle. Why leave your family behind if you're truly switching sides for good?
Yeah.
So Zhu Yu decides right then to turn the tables. Use them as double agents. Feed Cao Cao false information through them. And his plan, keep them sweet until the day of the battle, then execute them as a sacrifice before launching the attack. It's just deception layered on deception, using their own spies against them.
Wow. And then there's Lu Su, the honest intermediary in all this. He clearly suspects the Cai brothers are spies too, right? He tries to warn Zuyu, but Zuyu sharply rebukes him right there in front of the brothers. Why make such a public display of scolding Lu Su when they're usually allies?
Performance. It was all part of the performance for the Tsai brothers' benefit. Zuyu needed them to believe their mission was completely successful, that he totally trusted them. His outburst at Lu Su made it seem like Lu Su was being overly suspicious, maybe paranoid, even disloyal for questioning Zuyu's judgment. It solidified the illusion.
So Lu Su's just left confused and worried.
Right, and he later goes to consult the main strategist, Zhu Liang, in the story, who just laughs. And he explains Zuyu's brilliant counter scheme, summing it up with that classic line, "Warfare is not averse to deception. Being Bianza. It's a masterclass in controlling the information flow, managing perceptions."
Commander Zuyu, he's facing Cao Cao's forces, and the source describes them as a million strong, stretching over 300 lives.
Yeah, that's huge.
To put that in perspective for you, that's roughly, what, 100 miles or 160 kilometers of troops?
Something like that, just vast. With that kind of overwhelming scale, a direct fight, well, it simply wasn't viable.
So what was Zuyu's immediate strategic challenge here? Like, what's the first problem he has to solve?
Exactly that. Conventional warfare was basically out of the question.
Yeah.
Zhu needed something radical, a different approach, and this is where General Huang Gai steps in. Now, he's a seasoned veteran, really loyal to the Sun family for 3 generations, which, that speaks volumes about his character's commitment.
3 generations, wow.
Yeah, he approaches Zhu under the cover of night. Very cloak and dagger.
And he proposes this desperate tactic, right? He suggests a fire attack. Tells Zhu, "Their multitude against our few, it is not suitable to hold out for long. Why not use fire attack?" What's Zuyu's reaction? Does he see the same risks?
Well, what's fascinating here is that Zhu reveals he's already set on a fire attack. The idea isn't new to him at all.
Oh, okay.
What he truly needs, though, isn't the concept itself. It's someone to execute a fake defection, the Zhangji, to actually get inside Cao Cao's lines and deliver that decisive blow.
Ah, so it's not just the fire, it's the delivery method.
Precisely. He even mentions keeping Cao Cao's own spies, Cai Zong and Cai He, these guys who pretended to surrender earlier, basically to help spread the eventual news of this new fake defection. It's quite layered from the start.
Wow, okay, so he was already thinking that far ahead, planning this deep deception. And then what happens? Does Zhu have to, persuade someone, or...?
Huang Gai immediately volunteers. Right away, no hesitation. He proclaims, "I have received deep kindness from the Sun family. Even if my liver and brains are smeared on the ground, I will have no regrets." It's an incredibly intense level of loyalty, truly.
Yeah, a powerful statement. But for us as listeners, I mean, how can we differentiate between genuine loyalty like that and maybe an act designed purely for strategic gain in this whole context?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Zhu, he recognizes the immense sacrifice required. He thanks Huang Gai, calls it the great fortune of Jiangdong. This really underscores the weight of the plan. It's a gamble, a huge one, that needs one of their most loyal generals to endure unimaginable public humiliation and pain, all for the greater good.
Yeah.
It's a terrifying yet strategically powerful kind of devotion. It goes way beyond just simple strategic planning,
Okay, so the stage is now set for this incredible deception. The next day, Zhu Yu calls this grand assembly of generals. Zhu Jiang is even there, and Zhu Yu publicly declares they need 3 months of provisions to prepare for a long standoff with Cao Cao, clearly part of the act.
Absolutely. And then Huang Gai makes his move, right on cue. He publicly challenges Zhu Yu, just scoffs, saying, "Don't say 3 months, even 30 months of provisions would be useless. If we can break them this month, then break them. If not, we should just abandon our armor and weapons, turn north, and surrender."
Whoa, that's direct insubordination.
Exactly. Designed to provoke a very public reaction, to sell the lie.
And how does Zhu Yu respond to this public defiance? Does he really commit to the act, or is there any hesitation? Do we see any cracks?
Oh, he absolutely sells the performance. The source says he feigns absolute fury, accuses Huang Gai of undermining morale, orders his immediate execution for even speaking of surrender.
Execution.
Yeah. And he's so convincing that when another general, Gan Ning, tries to intercede for Huang Gai, Zhu Yu just has him swiftly beaten out with random sticks. Just to show, his commitment to this illusion of uncontrolled rage. It's a calculated escalation, very deliberate.
That brings us to an important question, though. How do you make a performance like that believable to everyone? What about the other generals watching this unfold? Surely some suspected something.
Well, many were clearly fooled. The source tells us other officers immediately kneel down. They plead for Huang Gai's life, suggesting maybe reduced punishment. Zhu Yu, still playing the part, angry, he reluctantly agrees to spare Huang Gai's life, but orders 100 lashings on the back instead to correct his crime.
100 lashes. That's truly brutal.
Yeah.
So Huang Gai is stripped and beaten right there.
Right there. He endures 50 lashings initially. The description is graphic. Skin torn, flesh broken, fresh blood flowing. He apparently fainted several times.
Oh, man.
And Zhu Yu, still furious, storms off, threatening the remaining 50 blows if Huang Gai shows any further negligence or disrespect.
Was there a specific reason for this level of public violence, or was it just the most effective way to, sell the lie?
I think the graphic nature of the lashing was absolutely crucial. The source even describes how everyone who came to inquire about his condition wept.
So it had the intended effect.
Exactly. It was designed to leave absolutely no doubt in anyone's mind, especially any spies from Cao Cao's side who might be watching or listening, that this was a genuine falling out, a severe punishment for perceived insubordination. It needed to be physically and emotionally painful to be believable.
Okay, so we have the lashing, the pain, the big public spectacle, but who really knows what's going on here? We know Huang Gai and Zhu Yu are in on it, but what about the others, like Lu Su or the famous Zhu Zhiliang?
Right. Initially, Lu Su, another important general, he's genuinely confused and concerned.
Yeah.
He visits the injured Huang Gai, then goes straight to Zhu Zhiliang, basically expressing his shock at Zhu Yu's anger, and also Zhu Zhiliang for just passively observing the whole thing. Lu Su is completely taken in by the act.
Okay, and this is where Zhu Zhiliang's legendary foresight comes into play, right? What does he tell Lu Su? Does he spill the beans?
He does, but calmly. Zhu Zhiliang reveals that he knew it was all a stratagem, the bitter flesh trick, as he calls it.
He saw right through it.
Instantly. And then he advises Lu Su to actually pretend he's also upset with Zhu Yu's harshness when he talks to him, to further perpetuate the illusion.
Wow. The layers of this deception are just so deep. Okay, so Lu Su then visits Zhu Yu.
Yes. And Zhu Yu privately confirms to Lu Su that the lashing was indeed a stratagem. It was all to enable Huang Gai's fake defection to Cao Cao using fire.
But here's Zhu Yu's miscalculation, isn't it? What does he think about Zhu Zhiliang?
Absolutely. Zhu Yu expresses confidence that he has actually deceived Zhu Zhiliang with this plot. He genuinely believes his elaborate performance has even outsmarted the renowned strategist.
He thinks he fooled Zhu Zhiliang. That's bold.
It is. And Lu Su's reaction is quite telling. What does he do? Does he correct Zhu Yu?
What does he do? Does he say anything?
No. He silently acknowledges Zhu Zhiliang's superior foresight. He knows Zhu Zhiliang wasn't fooled, but following Zhu Zhiliang's instructions, he doesn't reveal this knowledge to Zhu Yu.
Ah, clever.
It's a quiet moment, but it really highlights just how few people are actually in on the full extent of the plan, and how Zhu Zhiliang just consistently seems to be, like, a step ahead of everyone.
Okay, so we have the brutal public lashing, the fake anger, the secret knowledge of just a select few. But one crucial piece is still needed. A trusted messenger. Someone to carry the lie to the enemy.
Exactly. The injured Huang Gai is lying there in his tent, sighing, probably in agony. Who steps forward to help him?
Who is it?
Well, strategist Can Ze arrives to visit Huang Gai. Now, initially, Huang Gai is guarded, even with Can Ze. Understandably so.
Yeah, can't trust anyone.
Pretty much. But Can Ze is shrewd. He looks at the situation, maybe sees something in Huang Gai's eyes, and he deduces the truth. He asks, point blank, is it not the bitter flesh trick?
He figured it out too.
He did, which speaks volumes about Can Ze's own strategic mind and probably his close relationship with Huang Gai. He saw through the act himself.
And Huang Gai confirms it.
He does. He admits it, stating his motivation was simply to break Cao Cao. And this is key. He told Can Ze he found no one else in the entire army trustworthy enough except Can Ze because of his known loyalty and righteousness.
That's quite an endorsement. And what does he ask Can Ze to do?
He asks Can Ze to be the one to deliver the fake defection letter directly to Cao Cao.
The crucial mission.
The most crucial part. And Can Ze joyfully agrees, completing that circle of trust. This final piece sets the stage perfectly for the next phase of this grand deception. The carefully constructed lies are now ready to be delivered right into the enemy's hands.